right, it's still Monday, December 9th, 2019. Welcome back. We got the Office of Inspector General, U.S. Department of Justice review of the 4 FISA applications and other aspects of the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Just dropped, and we're going to get right into it. Welcome back, all returning Patriots and newbies. Make sure you are subscribed here to the Patriot Hour. Take a look in the description box down below. I'll leave the link for you to get your very own PDF version of this report and go through it all that you can and report back. Leave comments, see what you find, and again, listen to everything you can out there and believe none of it. Read everything you can, watch everything you can, believe none of it, folks, until you can verify it on your own behalf. Okay, we're going to look into it here a little bit. Let me make it a full page. So redacted for public release, of course. Okay, 476 pages here, folks. So we're not going to be able to go through it all. You're going to have to do some research on your own, watch other videos, watch more of these. I'll do tidbits, but a review of the 4 FISA applications and other aspects of the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane. Oversight and Review Division, December 2019. This was just signed or put in yesterday to be released, and here it is on the 9th. So executive summary. Quick background, the Department of Justice, Department Office of Inspector General, OIG, undertook this review to examine certain actions by the FBI, Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and Department during the FBI investigation, opened on July 31st of 2016, known as Crossfire Hurricane, into whether individuals associated with Donald J. Trump for President campaign were coordinating, wittingly or unwittingly, with the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. Our review included examining the decision to open up Crossfire Hurricane in 4 individual cases on current and former members and of the Trump campaign: George Papadopoulos, Carter Page, Paul Manafort, and Michael Flynn. The earlier investigative steps taken and whether the openings on the early steps compiled with the department and FBI policy. Now, we know Paul Manafort was over in the Ukraine well before Trump was running with Soros. Why did he never go down for any of that stuff? The FBI's relationship with Christopher Steele, whom the FBI considered to be a confidential human source, CHS, its receipt, use, and evaluation of election reports from Steele, and its decision to close Steele as an FBI CHS. The 4 FBI applicants filed with Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, the FISIC, and how they did all that. So back in 2016 to get the first one, and then 3 more times in 17 to conduct Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, surveillancing, targeting Carter Page, and whether these applications complied with Department and FBI policies. The interactions of Department Attorney Bruce Orr with Steele, and then FBI Glenn Simpson at Fusion GPS, his wife, attorneys regarding the Manafort criminal case, interactions with the Department attorneys regarding Manafort. So the FBI's use of undercover employees, UCEs, and CHSs, and other than Steele in the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Whether the FBI placed any CHSs within the Trump campaign or tasked any CHSs to report on the Trump campaign. So we're going to go up here, OIG methodology. The OIG examined more than 1 million documents that were in the department and the FBI's possession, conducted over 170 interviews involving more than 100 witnesses. These attorneys included former FBI Director Comey, former Attorney General A.G. Loretta Lynch, former Deputy Attorney General DAJ Sally Yates, DAG Rod Rosenstein, former acting AG and acting DAG, and former current FBI General Dana Boente, former FBI Director Andrew McCabe, former FBI General James Baker, the Department Attorney Bruce Orr and his wife, the OIG. I wonder how we got all those. I didn't think he could talk to people that no longer worked, unless they were still there at the time. Maybe that's what it was, and then they were let go. Seems like a lot of these people were gone now. 2 witnesses, Glenn Simpson and Jonathan Weiner, a former Department of State official, declined our request for voluntary interviews, and we were unable to compel their testimony. So Glenn Simpson, Jonathan Weiner. We were given broad access to relevant materials by the department and the FBI. In addition, we reviewed relevant information that the U.S. government agencies provided the FBI in the course of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. However, because the activities of other agencies are outside our jurisdiction, we did not seek to obtain records from them that the FBI never received or reviewed, except for a limited amount of State Department records relating to Still. We also did not seek to assess any actions other than agencies may have taken. Additionally, our review did not independently seek to determine whether corroboration existed for the Steele election reporting. Rather, our review was focused on information that was available to the FBI concerning Steele's reports prior to during to the pendency of the Carter Page FISA authority. So our role in review was not to second guess discretionary judgments by department personnel about whether to open an investigation or specific judgment calls made during the course of the investigation, where those decisions complied with or authorized by department rules, policies, or procedures. We do not criticize particular decisions merely because we might have recommended a different investigative strategy or tactic based on facts learned during our investigation. The question we considered was not whether a particular investigative decision was ideal or could have been handled more effectively, but rather whether the department and the FBI complied with applicable legal requirements, policies, and procedures in taking the actions reviewed. Alternatively, whether the circumstances surrounding the decision indicated that it was based on inaccurate or incomplete information or considerations other than merits of the investigation. So this can go on and on, right? We know there's lots of pages. So the opening, Crossfire Hurricane, and the 4 related investigations early on. So this is how it opened up. I'm going to give you a whole little story. We're going to kind of go through here. Executive summary. Let's see, they get some recommendations at some point in here. Again, I'm just going through the pages for the very first time with you as well. So as part of our review, we also thought to determine whether evidence, political bias, or other improper considerations affected decision-making. Describe text and instant messages between the special counsel, the deputy director, Lisa Page, and then Section Chief Peter Strzok, among others, that included statements of hostility towards then-candidate Trump and statements of support for then-candidate Hillary. In this review, we found that while Lisa Page attended some of the discussions regarding the opening of investigations, she did not play a role in the decision to open Crossfire Hurricane or the 4 individual cases. We found that while Strzok was directly involved in decisions to open Crossfire in 4 individual cases, he was not the sole or even the highest level decision maker. As noted, then CD and AD Priestap and Strzok's supervisor was the official ultimately made the decision to open the investigation, and evidence reflected that this decision by Priestap was reached by a consensus after multiple days of discussions and meetings that he had with Strzok and other leadership. It's just a lot of words, man. Sensitive investigative matter. Early investigative steps, adherence to the least intrusive method. We found it concerning that the department and FBI policy did not require the FBI to consult with any department official in advance of conducting CHS operations involving advisors to major party candidates in the presidential campaign. And we found no evidence that the FBI consulted with any department officials before conducting these CHS operations. As we described in Chapter 2, consultation at a minimum is required by the department and FBI policies in numerous other sensitive circumstances, and we include a recommendation to address this issue. See? Do a lot of recommendations, and what you do in the future to make sure you don't screw over a civilian would be, don't do it. The decision to seek to use highly intrusive investigative technique was known and approved at multiple levels of the department, including by then DAJ Yates, and for the initial FISA application and first renewal, and then by Acting Attorney General Bonte, and then DAG Rosenstein for the second and third renewals, respectively. However, as we explain later, the Crossfire Hurricane team failed to inform department officials of significant information that was available to the team at the time that the FISA applications were drafted and filed. Much of that information was inconsistent with or undercut the assertions contained in the FISA applications that were supported. And Still was consulting hired firm Fusion GPS, a Washington, D.C. investigative firm, to obtain information about whether Russia was trying to achieve a particular outcome in the 2016 elections. What personal ties and the candidate Trump, I'm over here now, I'm just jumping all around. Trying to just look. I'm going to read it more thoroughly as well. The FBI's relationship with Christopher Steele its receipt and evaluation of his election reporting before the first FISA, FBI's efforts to evaluate the Still reporting. I know that they put some of this classified too. The fact that the FBI believes Still had not been retained to conduct political opposition research did not require the FBI under DOJ or FBI policy to ignore his reporting. Decision to seek FISA authority. Still in the executive summary here, just kind of scrolling through. The failure to provide accurate and complete information to the OI attorney concerning Page's prior relationship with another U.S. government agency, item 1 above, was particularly concerning because of the OI attorney had specifically asked the case agent in late September of 2016 whether Carter Page had a current prior relationship with another agency. In response to that inquiry, the case agent advised that OI attorney that Page's relationship was dated, claiming it was when Page lived in Moscow, 04 to 07, and outside scope. The representation, however, was contrary to the information that the other agency had provided to the FBI in 2016, which stated that Page was approved as an operational contact. Yeah, they kind of... make this a little smaller here, folks. I just want to... some redacted stuff. The 3 were new applications for continued. Conclusions concerning all 4. So, conclusions concerning all 4 FISA applications. We concluded that the failures described above in this report represent serious performance failures by the supervisory and non-supervisory agents with responsibility over the FISA applications. These failures prevented OI from fully performing its gatekeeper function and deprived the decision makers the opportunity to make fully informed decisions. Although some of the factual misstatements and omissions were found in the review were arguably more significant than others, we believe that all of them taken together resulted in FISA application that made it appear that the information supporting probable cause was stronger than an actual case. We identified at least 17 significant errors or omissions in the Carter Page FISA application, and many additional errors in the Woods procedures. These errors and omissions resulted from case agents providing wrong or incomplete information to the OI and failing to flag important issues for discussion. While we did not find documentary or testimony evidence of intentional misconduct on the part of the case agents who assisted the OI in preparing the applications or the agents and the supervisors who performed the Woods procedures, we also did not receive satisfactory explanations for the errors or problems we identified. In most instances, the agents and supervisors told us that they either did not know or recall why the information was not shared with the OI. That failure to do so may have been an oversight. I doubt it. That they did not recognize at the time the relevance of the information of the FISA application, or they did not believe the missing information to be significant. You know, of course, anyone can say that. Do you think the FISA judge needed to know that Hillary paid for it? Geesh, it didn't really seem like a big idea at the time. You know, what was I supposed to? Yeah, that was pretty big. Okay. Next time I understand. Couple of safety stand down meetings and we're good. Everyone needs to be fired. They all need to get their asses out of DC. All right. So issues relating to the Department Attorney General Bruce Orr. In Chapter 9, we describe the interactions with Bruce Orr. This is a real planted mole. The use of confidential sources. As discussed in Chapter 10, we determined that during the 2016 Crossfire Hurricane team tasked several CHSs which resulted in multiple interactions with Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. both before and after they affiliated with the Trump campaign, and one with a high-level Trump campaign official who was not subject of the investigation. All of these CHS interactions were consensual, monitored, and recorded by the FBI. As noted above, under the Department of FBI policy, the use of CHS to conduct consensual monitoring is a matter of investigative judgment that, absent certain circumstances, can be authorized by a first-line supervisor, a supervisory special agent. We determined that the CHS operations conducted during the Crossfire Hurricane received and the necessary FBI approvals, and that the AD pre-strap knew about and approved of all the Crossfire Hurricane CHS operations, even in circumstances where a first-level supervisor agent could not have approved the operations. We found no evidence that the FBI used CHSs or UCEs to interact with members of the Trump campaign prior to the opening of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. After the opening of the investigation, we found no evidence that the FBI placed any CHSs or UCEs within the Trump campaign or tasked any CHSs or UCEs to report on the Trump campaign. Finally, we also found no documentary or testimonial evidence that political bias or improper motivations influenced the FBI's decision to use CHSs. Although the Crossfire Hurricane team's use of CHSs and UCEs complied with applicable policies, we are concerned that under these policies it was sufficient for first-level FBI supervisor to authorize the domestic CHS operations that were undertaken in Crossfire Hurricane. We found no evidence that the FBI consulted with any department officials before conducting these CHS operations. We believe that the current department FBI policies are not sufficient. So they didn't find anything wrong, but they want to make a bunch of changes for the future. This is all this guy's coming up with. Nobody did anything wrong, and then when they did, they didn't really know it. Here's the recommendations. Our report makes 9 recommendations to the FBI and department to assess them in addressing the issue identified in this review. The department and FBI should ensure the adequate procedures are in place for the OI to obtain more bullshit. Let's see here. Department FBI should evaluate types of SIMs, required advance notification to senior department officials such as DAG, in addition to currently required by SIMs, especially for case openings. The FBI should develop protocols and guidelines for staffing. The FBI should address problems with The Department of FBI should clarify the term sensitive monitoring circumstance. The FBI should review the performance of all employees. All right, so that was just the whole opening. Let me get back so I can see a little more and more and more. When we get down here to a organization and oversight of the Crossfire. Stills discusses his reporting with third parties in late September in the Yahoo News article. After the election, I mean, they do it pretty thorough. Let's see. Other inaccurate, incomplete, or undocumented information in the 3 FISA 240. Undercover employees in Crossfire. I want to get down to findings. FBI's response, conclusions, and recommendations, 410. I'm just going to skip right on down there to 410. And then from there, as they cite crimes, you can go back to the areas to look into it. That's a better way, but we're just going to go over this, and then we'll shut this one down. I'll be back. I said 410, 409. The 3 renewals. Failed to correct, omitted. In addition to repeating the errors contained in the first FISA, we identified others similarly significant in the other three. Omitted the fact that Steele, primary subsource, who the FBI found credible, had made statements in January raising significant questions. Omitted Page's prior relationship with other U.S. government agencies. Omitted this, omitted that, omitted Papadopoulos' statements in the FBI CHS, took stuff out, rewrote it. Okay. What? I'm only on page 370. Page 410. All right, 409. Conclusions and recommendations. Here we go. So in July, conclusions, 3 weeks after the FBI Director James Comey announced the conclusion of the FBI's mid-year exam, investigation into presidential Clinton, handling of government emails during her tenure as Secretary of State, the FBI received reporting from a friendly foreign government, FFG, that in May 2016 meeting with the FFG Trump campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos suggested that Trump team had received some kind of suggestion from Russia that it could assist in the election process with an anonymous release of information during the campaign that would be damaging to candidate Clinton and President Obama. Days later, on July 31st, the FBI initiated the Crossfire Hurricane investigation that is the subject of this report. Wow. What does this say? Did it say FBI received a reporting from a friendly foreign government? Ain't that election? Ain't that getting into the another country and messing around with our elections? Friendly foreign government. And I didn't know there was such a thing. As we noted, I mean, isn't Trump friendly with the Ukraine and asking them to look into Biden back in 2016? They take it all to the next one. What the hell is going on here? That's different. I bet it is. As we noted last year in our review of the mid-year investigation, the FBI earned a reputation as one of the world's premier law enforcement agencies. In a significant part, okay, I don't need to read all that. The opening, crossfire, and the use of confidential human sources. Bill Pre-Strap. However, we determined that under the Department FBI policy, the decision whether to open crossfire counterintelligence investigation, which involved activities of individuals associated with a national major party campaign for president, was a discretionary judgment call left to the FBI. There were no requirement that the FBI officials be consulted or even notified prior to the FBI making that decision. We further found that consistent with policy, the FBI advised supervisors in the Department of National Security Division, NSD, of the investigation only after it had been initiated. Let's look at the recommendations. Mm-hmm. Looking at some of this. Renewal applications. Woods procedures. Still is a former bloop blocked out. No supporting documentation. Still told the FBI that he only provided information to business associated in the FBI. So here we go, a little FBI response. A little bigger here. December 6th of 19, the Honorable Michael Horowitz, Inspector General. Dear Inspector General Horowitz, thank you for the opportunity to respond to the Office of Inspector General OIG reported review of 4 FISA application Crossfire Hurricane investigation. The Federal Bureau of Investigation appreciates the OIG's critical independent oversight role and thoroughness and professionalism. The report findings and recommendations represent constructive criticism and make us stronger as an organization. We appreciate the report's recognition and that the FBI cooperated fully with the review. The report concludes that the FBI Crossfire Hurricane investigation related investigation of certain individuals was opened in 2016 for authorized purposes with adequate factual predication. The report also details instances in which certain FBI personnel at times during those periods did not comply with existing policies, neglected the exercise appropriate due diligence, or otherwise failed to meet with the standard of the conduct of the FBI. And that our country expects of the FBI. We are vested with the significant authorities, blah, blah, blah. According to the FBI report's findings, embraces the need for thoughtful, meaningful remedial action. I have ordered more than 40 corrective steps because of our credibility. Below is a summary of the actions we are taking. We are making concrete changes to ensure that our FISA protocols, verifications, layers of review, record-keeping requirements, and audits. Yeah. Not seeing much here. Since becoming FBI director, Federal Bureau Investigation Response. Man, this is a lot of repeat. Come on now. Okay. Looks like we're getting down here. The FBI fully accepts this recommendation as taking the following actions. The recommendation is directed to the DOJ the following. With regards to Mr. Orr, an employee of the DOJ, the FBI respectfully defers to the DOJ for addressing the OIG's recommendation. What's the recommendation? Am I skipping through it all? Because it's... Okay. All right. I'm trying to find names or any recommendations for people. Which could take some time. All right, so we went through it a little bit. I'm not impressed. Again, didn't read the whole thing either, but it's like we had called. He was going to, this happened, but hey, no big deal. It was just, it was just a political opponent of the 2016 elections. We'll get it right next time. Unbelievable. All right, so let me shut this one down. We're at the 30-minute mark. Let me go through, get some highlights, read more chunks of it, which is kind of what we all need to do. So again, leave some comments underneath this video. Look for the next one. We'll have some highlights, maybe find some names, and we'll see what recommended charges, if any, he is doing, just like he did in the last one, and we'll see what comes of that. All right, we'll be back here real soon, and have a great afternoon. And again, the link's below. Check in the description box if you want to have access to this. It's just a PDF file. You can get it on your phone, your tablet, whatever. You can read it for yourself. That way you don't have to take anyone's word. All right, we can lead a horse to water. Can't make it drink it. We'll see you back here real soon.